Welcome to Tell the Damn Story, the show that explores the many ways to navigate the successes and failures that aspiring and struggling writers face to make your journey that much easier.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Tell the Damn Story. That guy over there, that's Alex Simmons. He is well known for traditional publishing, whether it be comic books or graphic novels or fiction or plays. He's been all over the place doing everything, ladies and gentlemen, for 400 years. Me, I have been traditionally published. I'm a former journalist and teacher and all that stuff. I've been traditionally published with my fiction and poetry, but I also have a real love for independent publishing. And between the two of us, we can give you kind of a fuller picture on how you can tell your own damn story. And that's why we're here. And today it's really exciting. Oh, I'm so excited about this topic. I don't know why we're talking about it in Tell the Damn Story, but I'm so excited to talk about pantsing people. Who to pants, when to pants, how to pants people. We're going to pants everybody. What, Alex?
No, it's not pantsing people.
It's not
pantsing about people? Pantsers, which is a writing term, meaning people who write by the seat of their pants. And no, that doesn't mean they put their butts on the keyboard, although some of it reads that way. But that's not the point. That's not the point. That's what we're here to talk
about pantsers. Well, and ladies and gentlemen, if you stay to the end, Alex is going to run outside and pants the mailman. No, wait.
Well, not. Don't worry, mailman, you're safe. Okay.
All right, so Alex, let's talk about pantsers.
Yes.
There are plotters and pantsers. Can you tell us what's what?
Yes. Well, obviously, by the very word itself, plotters or plotting is writing, having worked out your plot. You work out maybe an outline or some other, usually some sort of guide that lists in some form, because there are many, the beginning, middle, and end of your story. It can be bullet points, it can be beats, it can be really a full-on, I mean, some people with screenplays and novels have written 10, 15 pages of quote-unquote an outline telling them how their story starts, where it's supposed to go, and how it's supposed to end. So this is really where people want to set up some sort of map or guideline to help them write their stories.
However,
yes, right. Pantsers are people who get an idea and leap to the keyboard or the pen and the paper and immediately start writing that book or writing that screenplay or writing that stage play. And their feeling is, we're going to figure it out while I'm writing. I'm not going to plot out where I'm going. I'm not going to map out anything. I'm just going to start writing and let the muses take me. And for some,
yes.
And for some, that works.
If people stay to the end, I'm going to give my theory on why. I suspect that no true pantser exists. And I'll explain why at the end. So hang around there and let's start some controversy.
Yeah,
I don't mean to pants the pantsers, but I do have a theory on that.
That's right. And if you respond to his theory, I'll give you his address so you can go talk to him about it.
Don't pants me though, please. It's laundry day.
So I thought I would do this. I thought I would name, or we would discuss, some of the problems with being a pantser. You know, some of the things that, if you are out there, folks, a pantser, what you might run into. And the first end of that is plot inconsistency. Okay? Literally what you are looking, I mean, you're going to have, even with an outline, there are going to be plot holes. Even if you mapped out things, there are going to be spots along the way where you're going, oh, wait a minute, how does this supposed to happen? How are they supposed to do what? How am I going to get the characters to do such and such? But you'll work it out because you've already mapped out where you're going. You may have even indicated some of how you're going to get there. So when you hit this little spot, you go, okay, if I want to get from here to there, I see where I'm going, then what do I need to fill in here? What needs to happen here? So that helps you. But if you haven't mapped that out and you hit plot holes, sometimes you're not even aware that you've hit it. You're sort of like, it's like being in the car going up the mountains and you're hitting potholes and things like that, but you keep on going. You're not really sure what kind of damage it's doing to your axle. So again, you could find yourself in a bigger scenario, a more difficult scenario further down the line, and now I have to backtrack to try and figure out what went wrong to then maybe fix it to then move forward. So plot holes and inconsistencies are a problem that you will face being a pantser. Yeah, I was going to hope you were going to comment on that.
Some pantsers might say, well, I love rewriting. And if that's the case, then pants your way through the first draft. I believe in, letting it suck, getting through it, and going back and saying, what's the problems? Let me address those problems in the second, third rewrite. And that, I think, is legit. That could work. But you are going to have those problems, and most of the time you go back and seed it and solve the problem that way. Matter of fact, my next chapter of my work in progress, I have to go to the end of the last chapter and drop in a character that I forgot to drop in.
Aha.
But that's part of the writing process.
And
So
there he
if
was.
that's the situation, if you're good with that, if you run to rewrites, maybe you're a pantser.
Now let me also throw in another caveat here.
Ooh, caviar.
Yes,
Okay.
caveat. Yes, with wine, with champagne. No,
Wow, we're
caveat.
pantsing people. We're having caviar.
Yeah, here we go. There are a couple of things that can happen if you've had a certain amount of experience writing stories, plays, books, whatever. You get into, you're a pantser, but you've had a certain amount of experience. So you've developed certain methodologies, routines, tips, tricks to help you deal with that. But as our audience in particular is a large part of it is aspiring and emerging writers. You've had less experience. You haven't been in the trenches as long. You haven't gone through as many battles, as it were. And so you
Not
haven't
quite
picked up.
Jimi Hendrix level.
Yeah, right. And subsequently, you have not picked up a lot of these techniques and things that could get you out of the circumstance.
Right.
So, as Chris just said, if you're into rewrites and everything, I happen because we both have worked with students, but I'm working with some students right now and have had some in the past who rewrites is an ugly word to them. That
Yeah.
they're working off of the premise that when I write it, that's it. It's solid.
Done. Yeah.
It's done. It's good. It's
Yeah.
golden. It's going to work perfectly. And
I spent about 30 years dealing with that. I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
yeah.
First draft, best draft.
Yeah. No. And it's part of the trick in terms of what we have to go through is to teach ourselves that getting that first draft out is literally telling ourselves the story.
Yeah.
Getting it out of our head where it
Right.
can change and morph multiple ways, multiple times in just an hour or two, let alone days.
Yeah.
Telling that story into a solid form outside our head that we can look at and thereby see what really exists and then know
Yes.
what to do with it.
I was a teacher for 30 years, but I still kind of blame the education system, and I'm not sure why. Same thing with especially kids, what they see singers singing perfectly and athletes at top form. And thank God for someone like Michael Jordan or was a little redhead singer, I forgot his name there, who go out of their way to say, yeah, you think I was born great. Here's, and Jordan said, I missed hundreds and whatever the hundreds of times are and all that sort of stuff. That's writing. That's really writing, and to get people out of that mindset as I wrote it and it's done. Well,
yeah.
So when you got up this morning, you had some pajamas on. Why aren't you in school with your pajamas? How many times have you changed your top because it didn't look just right? Those are rewrites. Yeah. Did you brush your hair? I know I did. That's how I got it so perfectly. Right? Or if you wear makeup, whatever the things you do to prepare yourself, those are rewrites.
Yeah.
I have to rewrite my eyebrows several times a day because they like to go wherever they want to go. That's all rewrites. So if that is such a part of your life, you should, if you have that mental block that it's done, get past that. Because in so many other aspects of your life, you ever look at a menu? I'm going to have this. No, I'm going to have that. Those are rewrites. So it's part of the deal. And it's once you get past the prejudice, the stigma, and you embrace rewrites, you realize it's the best part.
They're your friends, yeah. And funny,
All
you
right.
should mention, having to rewrite your eyebrows. Yes.
I might have to do it now.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Let's talk
Okay, go
about
ahead.
wandering plot lines.
Yes. Like my wandering eyebrows.
Yes, wandering eyebrows. Let's talk about wandering plot lines. Once
Yeah.
again, you are writing as you go. You are making this stuff up as you go, and you're clicking away on the keyboard, you're scrawling with the pen, whatever you're doing, it's all just spewing out of you. And it guaranteed there are going to be places where you're going to look back to read and you go, wait a minute, how did I but I didn't mention and she, but they were supposed to, and they're not. What was the theme of this thing to begin? What where was I supposed? That happens. Now that
Yeah.
again, that happens when you have an outline. That happens when you're mapping out your story before you start writing, or if you've mapped out a very rough, rudimentary outline and you're writing like crazy.
Right.
Yes, you're still going to hit spots where you're going, wait a minute, I lost track of, or I wanted to do such and such, and I don't think I did. That's fine. But once again, at least you know where you went off the rail.
Right.
And
Um,
yeah, in this
but
particular case, I'm just going to say, in wandering plot lines, like that's going to lead to a different complication down the line, which I will mention. But right now, let's hear what Chris has to say about wandering plot lines.
well, it's taken a long time to find a writing group that really works. But one of the things that a writing group that works for you, right? What it does is it will point out your wandering plot line, or even if like if I'm in a groove, kind of a groove, and running through something, and I don't in the rewrite, I don't pay attention to a particular line, it is always going to stand out for one of the readers, and they say, "Well, what's one time someone nailed me for a word?" He said, "If you say this particular word, it changes our perception of the entire character.
Mm.
It's unforgivable that she would say that to this other person." And that's part of the deal. Your wandering plot line, it's going to happen. That's why rewriting is so important. But it may also be your characterization. You have now crossed the line where the person can't do the things you're saying it would do because of something that you just glossed over earlier.
Yeah.
It's part of the deal. Yeah. You have to. Now, some people, Walter Mosley, God bless him, he's an amazing writer. But there's been more than a couple of novels that I've read where we went a lot of different places, and he pulled it all together. But he's earned that right.
Mm.
Us here today, we haven't earned that right to be. I mean, he has slowly over 30 or 40 years built a reputation as an artistic genre writer. So if he goes on it, that's what you buy the ticket for, right?
Once again, you said something very important there, and it goes back to the experience, putting in the hours, keeping your butt in the seat, you know,
Yeah.
doing all of that time. You said 30, 40 years in this case. Maya Angelou,
Yeah,
Stephen
sure.
King, all of these people have put in major hours. They've also dealt with major disappointments. They've had major editorial meetings. They have won, lost, and failed multiple times, and they're still at it because the
Hmm.
craft matters to them.
Yeah.
So they've
Agreed.
they've they've taken the hits to keep getting up and going back at it. And that's one of the things that we tend to learn if this is really what you want to do, that okay, it is a mess when I finish that first draft. How badly do you want to see it out there? How
Sure.
badly do you want to get this story told so that you're willing to put in the time to get it to the best condition it possibly can be? That's a big question. So again, wandering plot lines is if you're a pantser and you're doing this and you're just writing like crazy, going, 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 expect that when you start rereading the material, you're going to see that you've got multiple pathways going off of the main one, and you have to make decisions about what you're going to do with that.
And
If
if you do have your wandering plot line, Alex, where do you find the most pain? The most, oh my God, I'm completely lost and I'll never be able to do this. And the specter of just give up is most powerful. Where is that, Alex?
the middle, the murky, cloudy,
Oh,
disgustingly dark, terrible middle. You are halfway, if halfway, but it feels like you're halfway into this sucker, and now you have no idea where to go. You are that person spinning around in a circle in the house of mirrors, with no concept of where the exit door is.
You might be halfway there, but you can't get through if you're
Yeah,
living on a prayer.
you can't get there from here. Yeah. Yeah.
So what do we do about the murky middle?
Well, once again, if you are a pantser, don't give up. That's the first thing. Because literally that happens to so many people, that
Sure.
they reach this impasse, or what they feel is an impasse, and they quit. And usually it goes something like this: I've got a better idea, I've got a whole new idea, I got a whole new story, it's going to work out, it's going to be better. No, you're just
That's the
trading.
devil.
Yes,
That's the
you're
devil
trading one
talking.
set of problems for a new set of problems.
Right.
Right. Yeah, but there's no guarantee that's going to work any better than this. The other
That new idea is going to get a murky middle as well.
That's right. And I tell my students, I said, the other thing that you lose by not staying on this course is you lose the opportunity to learn how to work through problems, how to work out problems. And I guarantee you, no matter what business you go into, you will encounter problems. And
Oh, yeah.
subsequently, you need to have the skill and the tenacity to go, okay, how do I work this out? How do I get this? What needs to happen? What's wrong? How do I fix it? That's what you need no matter what. But in writing in particular, you got to be able to look back at the work and go, okay, where's the problem coming from? Is it the plot? Is it the way I'm writing it? Is it the genre? Is it the fact I don't have an outline? Is it the characterization? What did I do? How do I fix it?
Yeah. And those are good questions. Those are writer questions. That means you're getting to the good stuff. That is not failure. You didn't fail because it's not perfect at the first word. This is oil painting. This is not water painting.
Ooh, yeah, I like
Right?
that. And actually,
Watercolors.
watercoloring, if you
Yeah.
wet your paper down and then apply your colors, it runs in its own free form. So yes, you can have that sense of the muses are taking me and letting the art dictate where it's going to go, but you're still going to have to work with it so that you
Right.
don't wind up with this muddy mess.
Which is rewriting.
Yeah,
Right.
there you go.
You can do more rewriting with oil than with
This is true.
watercolors, but it's still, you got to
And
jump
less
to
with acrylics.
Oh, bro. All right. So the answer to murky middle is asking the tough questions, keeping the faith, and rewriting.
Yeah,
Run to the
absolutely.
rewrite. Strongest thing you can do.
Absolutely. Let's move to the next one, sir.
Yes, sir. Let's talk about it.
So
You
here
know,
it is. Here it is. Here it is. By the way, I have my list here, right here. Okay.
Mhm.
Weak or unsatisfying endings. How do you know how you're going to end a story, Chris? How do you determine that?
Me, I mean, I live with it for a while, and I write a lot of index cards and all that sort of stuff. And I write a couple of crappy endings, and those are good ones because then you can say, okay, it doesn't really work. Why not?
Mm.
What needs to happen to make it work better? How do you solve that problem? Those are all gifts. Yeah, and I tend to do that on index cards before I get to the drafts. It's just that's what works for me. But if you're a pantser and you get there, you'll know that ending. When your story is saying, "No, it was good. I had fun. I'll call you sometime." Yeah, then
Yeah, yeah. I'll call you.
you got to rework that ending, brother.
Oh God. I tend
But
to. Oh, I'm sorry. Did you?
you have to know what you want from the ending. Is it a final twist that leaves people thinking, or is it a final scare? Is it the hero's journey and the person is changed in a way that he'll never be able to be that old person, he has ascended? Or if it could be a story where that person has failed, if it just and then you're done.
For those of you who didn't see that, the lips quivered and sputtered out
Right.
here. So just letting you know.
Just there was a
Yeah,
little fluttering of the mustache.
that's right. Right.
Right.
You know,
Poor
it
Stephen
petered
King,
out.
when his first like 10 books or so, the people who were Stephen King haters were like, he doesn't know how to end a story. I, by and large, found myself disagreeing with that. I thought Stephen King, those are just because the story doesn't end the way some fan says it should. But to really nail an ending, to leave somebody satisfied or thinking about it for days or physically moved, those are worth striving for. And sometimes you don't really know what the book's about until you finish writing it. And if the ending's bothering you, that's a gift. That means you have more to do.
Yeah. I often tell my clients or my students, um, and these are again different techniques. It's sort of like having different tools to choose from to get the job done. But for instance, if you know the theme that you're exploring here, or if you know the message that you're trying to share or get across to us, that gives you a hint at how you might want to end your story. If you have a particular reaction that you want to get out, you're writing a comedy and you want guffaws like crazy, laughter like crazy at the end of it, that gives you some idea of what your ending might be like, what you're going for. It's always nice, again, if you're plotting out or planning out your story, to have an overview of, okay, it starts here, it's going to end over here somewhere, and I'd like it to feel like such and such by the time it ends, or I want the audience to go away feeling X by the time it ends. And that gives you, again, something to look for. But it's ultimately writing the story, meeting these characters, going through these circumstances, solving these problems that brings you to that climax, resolution, and conclusion.
Right.
And again, as Chris was saying, and you have that feeling at that point, yeah, that felt, yeah, that's what I was going for. Or you have, I don't know, it's not sitting right. What's wrong? Why isn't it? Blah blah blah. But at least you have some idea of the neighborhood you're trying to land in or move
Yeah.
into.
Let me ask you a question because there's many writers, and some call themselves plotters, and some call themselves pantsers. But they say, before I start, I need to know how the story ends. One person I read an interview with, he said, I write the last sentence of the novel first.
Mm, I've heard
And
that.
then
Yeah.
everything that you're writing is aiming towards that, which I find fascinating. Is that a legitimate way to avoid weak or unsatisfying endings? Is that Can you still be a pantser if you've written the last sentence first? Some people say, well, I don't know how I'm going to get there,
Yeah, no, that's true. Yeah.
but you know where you're aiming at.
Yeah. I would say for me, and again, this is sort of a rule that I try and live by for myself as well as, any of my clients or students. I will say that a good deal of the time we will show you different techniques or tools that you can use in this game called writing. You get to decide which tools work best for you. And so I think that if knowing what the last line or scene of your story is and you want to write towards that, if that really works for you, okay, then who am I to say no, don't do that?
Right. Hmm.
But if you read someone does this and then you try and do it and it's not happening, you're still just as confused as before, then that's not your tool. That's
Yeah.
not the way your head works at this point, if ever. And so you have to find the methodologies that help you, that support you in your quest. And I would
Yeah.
say again, as a pantser, which I'm not, but as a pantser, okay, you have to at least initially say, okay, I'm going to write this story and I'm going to see where it takes me. Fine. You got to be willing to not expect perfection or that every word I put down is going to be gold and blah, 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 blah. As you're going through it, you're going to have to be open to the fact that it's going to be a holy mess at times, even right to the end, and that at the end,
Right.
I get to turn around, look at what I've created, and roll up my sleeves and get ready to go at it in the rewrites, revisions, and edits. That
Uh,
that's
no,
something you're going to have to accept.
yeah. Alex, I just have to inform you that when you lean back,
Yes,
the light goes dark and you become kind of like a ghost. And then when you
really.
lean forward, your color. Now it's not happening, but you were doing something before and it was going like this and you were, yeah. I don't know what
Oh,
it was.
okay. Now it won't do it for me.
Yeah.
Okay.
So see, plotting and pantsing,
Yeah.
even with
There you
lighting, ladies and gentlemen.
go.
So let's talk about the rewrites that pantsing can require.
Yep. Oh, well, hey, first off, get rid of all the inconsistencies. Yeah, you're gonna have a ton of those. There's character development. However your character started out, at some point in space and time, that's going to change, you're going to grow, develop, whatever you want to call it. And now you've got to sort of look at that as a whole and go, does it make sense that this person that this character is now started here? Can I really see legitimate or authentic transformation? Or are these like really now reading like I've created three different characters and they don't connect at all? So I think that's one of the places that you definitely, you have to be prepared to go back and fix a lot of the elements that you uncovered and discovered and drifted away from and come back to or whatever when you sit down for that rewrite, which to me means a lot more work than had you at least roughly laid it out before. But again, that's me.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not disagreeing with you, but I'm giving an alternate view.
Sure.
Some may argue that, well, if you're a plotter, you're doing all of that before you start writing the actual draft. For me, it's index cards. Other people, it's a big board and they're filling all that. Try them both. Whichever one causes less pain, that's the one for you.
Yeah, there you go.
But embrace the idea that you're going to be writing and rewriting and developing and polishing and going back and seeding so the clear up the potholes. That's part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine being a seamstress who hates sewing.
Yep.
It's part of the deal.
Being a teacher who hates talking.
And we can do this the rest of the day.
Yeah.
I'm a hockey player who hates the cold. Let's go.
Yep,
Let's go.
there you go.
If you're here after, what was it, 380, this is 389, this episode?
389, yeah.
If you're here listening to someone who has done 389 episodes, you're here because you want to write. And if you want to write, please do yourself a favor and acknowledge that you want to rewrite, because that's the jewel. And if you do it after a pantsing experience, well, writing as a pantser, we don't want you getting pantsed out there, then embrace that. And if you hate the idea of having to write the whole novel and then searching, where is the mistake? You want to try plotting. I'm deep into my work in progress, and I'm kicking myself because I didn't write an ongoing list of characters. And now I have to go back and make sure I have all the character names right. I should have had that list before. It's a good rule of thumb. But now it's part of the job of this particular work in progress.
Yeah.
Maybe next time it won't be. So yeah, it's going to be intensive and time consuming rewrites, but we're all writing, ladies and gentlemen, because we don't like to be out in the real world, and we don't like we don't want to socialize. And so don't worry about it.
I would say again, just try not to see or continue to build up or change, even better. Train yourself to not see rewriting as a punishment. It's not. It is a support system that almost every single writer needs. And Chris will back me up on this. There are, and certainly back in the 30s, 40s, and 50s, yes, my Wayback Machine, there were reporters who sat at a desk and had to hammer out their story as cleanly as they possibly could in maybe one take, because
Right.
it had to then get to copyright and then get up and printed into the newspaper, because it had to go out for the evening edition or the morning edition or whatever the edition is,
Sure.
because it was very immediate. So you
Yeah.
had to do it, and whatever goofs, they were gone. They're out there now. That's it. So there are places in this life where, yeah, one take wonders will put it out. That doesn't mean that they're perfect. It means that they've honed their skills to the point of where their one take, their one draft will suffice. And maybe in rare cases, it would be brilliant by one or two people out of 1,000. But the vast majority of us, we really have this wonderful support system called rewrites, revisions, and
Yeah.
that's something that we should embrace.
Brings us to point number 6, our final point for today, and then I will give you my theory.
Okay, so character consistency issues. One of the reasons that that's point number 6 and not like 3 or 4 when we were up there talking about plotting and all that kind of stuff is because I feel that 99% of the stories that we become engaged with are based on how we feel about the characters. 99% of the people who read novels or go to see movies or plays or watch television shows, you may enjoy the scenery, you may enjoy the costumes and music, all right, the action sequences. But most of the time, most of us are engaged because of the characters. We want to follow these characters, see
Right.
what they're up against, see where they go, see how they handle it, whether or not they win or lose at the end. This is what compels us. Subsequently, inconsistent characters in a half-hour thing, an hour-long thing, or a 4-hour movie, I'm sorry, it takes us out of the story instantly. And if
Right.
it happens repeatedly, after a while, we don't even care anymore. We're going to change the channel. We're going to sleep through the movie. We're going to ignore the book, whatever it is. So you have to really get your characters down in a way that they read authentically, whatever that characterization is, from beginning to end. And if you're going to
Yeah.
be a pantser again, and you're not going to do character bios, you're just going to, okay, fine. Understand that your homework after you get this first draft done is to go back in there and do justice to the characters you created and the story you created by really bringing them into their fullness. And that
Yeah.
takes some additional work.
For me, that's pass number 3, 4, 5, sometimes 6. For me, the first one is always get it coherent. Does the story work? And make a list, or for me, index cards of where the problems are. And then there's a spell check and grammar check just to get that cleaned up. And then I go back and start addressing the bigger issues. And character consistency is one of them,
Mm-hmm.
Um, a way that I combat that is I live with my characters for a long time before I start writing, which is not what a pantser does, right? I take my characters to the mall. I've said that a lot, right?
You can
Like,
see
what
them
would
around
they
the food
do?
court. They're around the
Yeah,
food
yeah,
court. They're having a
wherever,
really great time.
wherever. Glorious likes to shop. She always has something that somebody needs, or that she's going to get, or she's going to return, or whatever. And I go with no plan. Yeah, other than I'm going to follow her around because she's glorious. And I'm just wherever she winds up going, I'm going to hold back either, okay, go ahead, I'll stay outside, or in the store if I've never seen the store before. And if I'm in the store, she took me to some boutique. It was like ladies' pajamas and undergarments and all that stuff, which was freaking me out. And I said, all right, how would this character or that character deal with it? I mean, I have a character who's, kind of a punk rocker from Brooklyn. And I don't know how long she would last in a place like that, but maybe so. So the what ifs, and I do all of that. That's never going to show up in a story,
Mm-hmm.
right? I was listening to interviews with James Gunn. He's been coming out with a lot of stuff with DCU, and he'll talk about, yeah, I know the exact origin story of this character. I don't know if I'll ever have a place to put it, but I needed to know it,
Yeah.
and I respect that. So that's one way to do it, is live with the characters beforehand. But again, that violates the idea of pantsing. Reading it out loud, like you're getting paid. I say this all the time, like you're getting paid $30,000 for this live appearance, right? And if you're reading a novel, you're going to be doing that over a week. But what you want to do is read it and just take notes. You don't want to start writing. And one of the things you want to do, does this character sound the same on page 1 and page 40 and page 200? Now, yes, the character is going to hopefully grow, but they're not going to suddenly grow an English accent if they grow up in the Bronx. That's character inconsistency. So those are the ways to do it and check it. And it's part of the gig. You got to check it. Anything else to add on that? Or
No,
should we
I
get
think
to
I think
the,
you've rounded that off rather nicely.
all right. So
Rather nicely
uh,
indeed.
is it theory time?
It's theory
Well,
time.
we're
I
going to get
think that's
sued.
what all these
Well,
people
it's
have been
not that
waiting
kind of
for.
theory time. All
All of
right.
these folks have been sitting here patiently going, "Oh, nice note, nice note." But what's he going to tell us? And
Yes.
now we will find out.
um there are some really famous pantsers, or people who say, yeah, more or less, um but if you read their interviews, especially if you're lucky enough to read an interview where they're talking about process, almost everyone that I've ever known as a famous pantser will tip their hand. One person I know says, yeah, right, from about 11 to 3, and then that's it. Whatever I get for that day, that's what I get. And wherever it leads off, whatever I'm doing for the rest of the day, I'm thinking about what happens next. And I'm thinking about what happens down the line. That's not pantsing to me. And the most famous alleged pantser, and all due respect, Steve, don't send vampires after me. But Stephen King was always, oh, he's a pantser and all that. But most recently, well, not most recently, within the last year, sometime during 2025, I read an interview that was fairly recent where he said, one of the things I really like to do is, as I'm going to sleep, I think about where the story has gone and where it needs to go and how to get them there. That's not pantsing. Both of those examples are plotting. So my theory is there's no true pantsers. Some people just plot in their head and they think through it and they think, who was it? E.L. Doctorow? I think he was the one who said you could write a whole, or it might have been Hemingway, one or the other. So you can write a whole novel. You can get home during a snowstorm, right? And you only see as far as your headlights will go, 20 feet ahead of you. You can go, you can get there. Just it's going to be a little slower. And same thing. You can just know what the next 2 or 3 pages are going to be, or the next 4 or 5 pages are going to be, and eventually get to the end of your novel. But you're thinking about it constantly.
Yeah.
So think about your work. Love your work. Take your characters to the mall. Go to dinner with them.
Interview them.
Don't pants them.
Yeah.
Oh, one more joke.
But we'll be back
whether
after
you're a
word from our
plotter
sponsor.
or a pantser, the real secret of writing is just loving it and serving the story, whether it's on a paper or on an index card or in your head or in your dreams, whatever it is, just keep writing.
There you go.
Go forth, ladies and gentlemen, and tell
be
your
literary.
own damn story.
Okay.
So that's my take.
Chris, thank you, folks. Very,
Thank
very
you
good.
so very
Wonderful,
much.
wonderful. Thank you. Thank you for swinging by here. Hope this was useful to you. Leave some comments, please. Chris, what else should they do?
Couple of things. If you liked it, like it. If you come on.
Like it anyway.
Give us a little something.
Yeah.
If you haven't yet, subscribe. Now, I know a lot of you out there haven't subscribed yet. Come on. You keep coming back. You like the two of us because we both wear blue shirts by accident. We tell a couple of goofy things and give you a little bit of stuff that you can use. Come on, subscribe, bro. Or sis or they, whatever.
Yeah, there you go.
Just subscribe. And if there's something that you disagree with or agree with, or a further point you want to make, that's why they created, that's why God or Yahweh or Sears and Roebuck created the comment section. So go and write them comments. There are some 20-somethings saying, who's Sears and who Roebuck? Who are those guys? Are they deities?
No, that's on par with your comment from the other episode with the zombie ostriches.
Yes. Well, there's a lot of people up here. It's pretty crowded up here.
Yeah. We'll be fine, folks. We're going to get him on his medication and he'll lay down and take a nap in about an hour.
All right, everybody. Have a great week. We'll see you soon.
You got it. Take care, everybody. Bye, Chris.